is there an instance where you feel you said something that appeared to be true to you at the time, and knowing what you know?
Yes, I think I was a little dismissive of the men going their own way, because I think I called them pathetic weasels, and I had my reasons for that. My reasons were, roughly speaking, that
Who are the men going their own way, just for context?
Well, they're a group of people, mostly on the net, who've been burned in their relationships, or who conceptualize themselves as having been burned in their relationships. And they believe that the legal structure, in particular, in Western countries, is so tilted against men, particularly in family dispute situations, and divorce settlement, that it's safer for men not to establish permanent relationships with women, not to cohabit with them, ever. And they're a large movement. Now, how large they are, I don't know, but they're large enough. And they have what I would regard as an undue influence over relatively bitter and resentful young men who haven't had great success in the dating market, and who are looking for a rationale to write off all women because they're so hurt by their continual rejection. And that is not good for those young men. And so the reason that I disparaged the men going their own way was because I had seen the pernicious effect, these are often older guys, the pernicious effect of their world-weary philosophy on young men. Now, these guys think that they're just warning them, and they are warning them, but they're not just warning them. Now, the reason I regret calling them pathetic weasels is because they also have a point. I do believe that the court systems are staggeringly anti-male, absurdly, horribly anti-male. And I've seen my own clients, some of them who are really, really decent, hardworking, family-oriented people, demolished by the court systems. And so the men going their own way have a point. And so I'm sorry that I called them pathetic weasels, but I outlined my reasons. And so, yes, I do regret that. I have to be careful because I do have a satirical, dark, satirical sense of humor. And I can utter epithets, let's say, for the sake of punctuating a point, while simultaneously forgetting that 150,000 people will listen to it. So I regret that.
I have a funny clip of Peterson I'll show next. But to comment on his video, people often see men going their own way as one thing, when in reality it's different for every man, since all it is a philosophy. A philosophy that prioritizes self-preservation. To give examples, some men choose to get passports. Some men choose to only date religious women. Some men choose to stop dating women entirely. Some men choose to date but not get married. Some men choose to not have kids. People disagree with it because they don't understand what it is. But even those that disagree still agree with a lot of the main points, despite their general lack of understanding of what men going their own way actually means. Now, let's take a look at that funny clip. But keep in mind this video is edited, and he did not actually say these things.
Women are a tremendous amount of responsibility and trouble because they can't do anything. And you have to be like seriously in love with them to do right by them. They get resentful and bitter and passive aggressive, and they take things out on their subordinates, and it's like mayhem in no time flat, and nothing works. Like if they don't make the hair stand up in the back of your neck, you are not paying attention. They're full of flaws. They act badly. They're a cancer on the face of the planet. It'd be better if they didn't exist at all. It's like you don't have to put up with any unpleasant, you don't have to put up with any unnecessary, unpleasant nonsense from women. It's not necessary. You could compare their behavior in some ways to pack animals like dogs, which is why they like dogs and get along with dogs. They understand each other,
You think they're really missing sort of like a key component of what life is, right?
I do. I really believe that. I mean, I think that it's like if you took randomly random sets of men and women out of the population, and you said you bet on who was more passive aggressive. If you bet on the woman, you'd be right 60% of the time. But that's a significant difference.
The proof is in the pudding, so to speak.
Well, if you're not willing to accept that sort of thing as proof, you got to also ask, like, well, okay, what would you allow to falsify your theory?
The hate speech never ends with you, huh?
Yeah, I know.
It's just
like,
endless.
it's one
All right.
thing after another.
Because if you were actually thinking about your family, the last thing you would do is leave a man who you say is a perfect man and break up his family, break up your children's relationship with a father, and take a bunch of money, unless you didn't actually give a shit about that.
I completely agree with him. I just disagree with the way that he's saying it.
What?
The tone.
God,
But I completely agree with you.
The reason why it's so frustrating to have women inside of men's spaces immediately is because there's always tone policing bull.
And you agree with him.
Who cares
100%.
about
That's
tone
crazy.
policing?
Why do you think tone policing?
Who cares about tone policing?
Because it's about the approach on how you
No,
talk to
it's
someone.
not.
'cause
It's
it
about
almost
what's
shows
being
disrespect.
said, not how you interpret it.
No, that's not true.
Actually,
Yeah, that's just a
intention lies within your
It's just a bunch
tone.
of feminist bullshit.
But on
No,
the
no, I'm not
we
feminist.
care about things differently.
Then why are you tone policing?
One line at a time, one
Not what
person
God
at a time,
means.
one
Why you
person at a time.
Why you come over and go, now, Johnny, it's about how that. I'm going to say it exactly how it needs to be said.
Hold up. Go around the table. Raise your hand if you're a feminist, because I'm not.
Oh, we'll get to that in a minute.
They don't care about the truth. They care about how it makes them feel. If you said 2 + 2 = 4, but they didn't like how you said it or how it made them feel, they would say you're wrong.
Proud feminist.
Okay, so by us saying that we tend to want to agree with you, but if we could just deliver it in a way
If
that
we could
actually...
just get you to do it how we
Oh,
want.
I'm sorry, there's no interrupting, right? Remember, there's no interrupting?
If we're having a conversation with each
If you
other.
could say something and we can agree with you, but let's say it in a way that actually makes a difference, then you're, oh, tone police, tone police.
Okay, but
We're
I
not
disagree
tone
with him.
policing you. We're saying,
How
we
could
agree.
it not be
Your
a tone
delivery
police
matters.
if you literally are saying to me, I agree with what you say, I just don't agree with the tone in which you
That's
say
not how
it.
she said it. That's not how she
I
said
said I
it.
agree with what you're saying. I don't like how
it's being
you're
delivered.
delivering
Right.
it.
You don't like the tone. It's literally tone
What did you
policing.
say that was?
Nothing. They all agree with me. They
I
don't,
disagree.
they don't like
No,
the
we
delivery.
don't really say that.
We can fully say that.
No, I just don't like the delivery.
For girls who are engaged, I have a serious question. If you have a 3-carat diamond or above, I need your advice. I want a 3-carat diamond. I love the size. Sometimes I look at it though when I'm in store and I'm like, I think it's too big. Is a 3-carat diamond too big or bigger? And I need to know, like, in practical everyday life, should I go a hairline under 3 carats? My brain can't wrap its way around it being smaller than 3 carats.
The internet is mad at this woman for saying that she deserves a $75,000 engagement ring. Watch.
How much do you want your husband, future husband, to spend on a ring on you, engagement ring?
Easily 75.
$75,000. That's a whole truck. As a matter of fact, the median income all the way across the board from the very richest to the very poorest is $74,580 here in the United States. And she wants more than that, 1 year's pay, more than that on her finger. But here's why she wants it.
75. Why is that?
That's what I deserve.
She deserves it. So they must both be rich, right? Let's find out what they do. Especially since he's the one that's going to be buying the engagement ring.
For a living.
Okay.
I'm majoring in counting. I could make that.
She says she's majoring in counting or counseling. This isn't counseling, but it sounds like she said accounting. And she can make that easy. Well, let's find out what he does.
What do you do living? Doctor. You're a doctor? Yeah. Are you studying to be a doctor? Going to med school. I applied to med school.
All right, I don't know if you caught that, but he says, what do you do for a living? He says, doctor. And then he asks, you're a doctor? Are you studying to be a doctor? And he says, yeah, I applied to med school. So he's not even a doctor. He applied to go and study to become a doctor. So he hasn't even got to the studying part to become a doctor.
I guarantee women would not be saying they deserve these extremely expensive rings if they were the ones that had to buy it. The only reason she would want a ring that expensive is to use it as a financial backup plan for when she leaves him.